Okay. Okay. Hello. Please, can you hear me? Am I audible, please? Am I audible to your hearing, please? Hello. Please, am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Good morning to our participants here in Nigeria, and good afternoon to our people over there in the United Kingdom, Saudi Arabia, Oman, and many other different parts of the world. My name is Hayatuddin Muhammad Abdullah. I'm the Public Relations Officer of Maryam Abacha American University of Nigeria, and I'm really honored to serve as the moderator of today's contemporary and memorable event. On this note, therefore, permit me to welcome our distinguished faculties online and offline, our eminent scholars and guest speakers, as well as our honorable participants online, to the one-day online international development workshop organized by Maryam Abacha American University of Nigeria. This workshop is organized in line with the university's commitment to promote knowledge production and knowledge sharing outside of the classroom setting through seminars, workshops, and symposia. During the event, 3 papers will be presented by eminent scholars, and these papers are designed to offer valuable insights and practical strategies for educators seeking to enhance students' engagement and learning outcomes. But before we dive into the program, I would like to introduce you to members of staff in this university for recognition. First and foremost, I have the president of Maryam Abacha American University of Nigeria in the person of Professor Dr. Muhammad Isra.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Sitting next to him is the Vice President of Administration of this university in the person of Dr. Habib Awais Abubakar. I also have the honor to introduce to you the human resource of this university in the person of Hajia Maimunat Saeed Bello. And I also have the honor to introduce a faculty member in this university in the person of Madbir. I also have the head of corporate communications and protocol unit of the university in the person of Madam Tukur Muntari Masanawa. And I equally have important faculties here joining us physically. Then moving forward, I would like to introduce to you our guest speakers. Just like I mentioned earlier, we are going to have 3 presentations. One by Dr. Aboud Hamid Saif Al-Sawafi, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Al-Ma'arif Consultancy, Sultanate of Oman. Please, can we appreciate him?
Thank you.
Also here to present is Dr. Fabio Carbon from the University of Northampton, United Kingdom. Please, can we give him a round of applause? Have Dr. Muhammad Zubair from Taiba University, Medina, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Due to the time constraint, I would like to hand over the mic to the first presenter. Okay, sorry. I would like to hand over the mic to the president of this university for his opening remark. So the mic is yours.
Thank you, Hayatuddin. First of all, today we are here to attend the one-day online international faculty development program on innovative pedagogy tools and techniques for effective teaching and learning. Very good morning and afternoon to all present here, and thank you for joining us today on the one-day online international faculty development program on innovative pedagogy tools for effective teaching and learning. In this faculty development program, a total of 4,260 participants registered from 41 countries. Some are Afghanistan, Bahrain, Brazil, Cameroon, Canada, China, Egypt, Ethiopia, France, India, Indonesia, Iraq, Iran, Jordan, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Maldives, Morocco, Niger, Nigeria, Oman, Pakistan, Palestine, Philippines, Qatar, Republic of Benin, Russia, Saudi Arab, South Africa, Sudan, Tunisia, West Indies, Turkey, UK, and USA. So, innovative pedagogy is the process of proactive introducing new teaching strategy and method into the classroom to improve academic outcomes and address real problems to promote equitable learning. I would like to thank and acknowledge all the delegates and the support team who have worked hard to make this faculty development program a truly successful one. I request that all the delegates and participants take part in the all activity that we have come with for the next 2 hours. I wish everyone a successful and fruitful faculty development program. I am delighted to declare this faculty development program open.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for your opening remark. And then I would like to hand over the mic to the first presenter, who is Dr. Abud Hamid Say, for his presentation. So the mic is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice Chancellor, and thank you, the colleagues who have joined us from different places. Quite a comprehensive attendance from many countries around the world. I'm honored to participate in this program. And my talk today, of course, this is the innovative pedagogy tools and techniques for effective learning and teaching, which is being hosted by Maryam Abacha, American University of Nigeria. My talk for today will be on change management, an essential tool for effective leadership. So my name, of course, is, as I've been introduced, Aboud Al-Sawafi, and established a marriage consultancy. But I'm also pleased to say I'm an honorary adjunct faculty at Maryam Abacha American University. So I think there's a echo. Somebody, yeah, right, that's clear. So why are we? What's the importance of change management in this workshop? This is a workshop on innovative tools and techniques for effective teaching and learning. And I'm not going to talk about any innovative pedagogy. I'm going to talk about change management. So why is this important? Of course, it is clear that continuous innovation often requires change or changes in the way we work. So making change management skills crucial for all educators. All educators are leaders in some capacity. Lecturers lead classes, and of course, middle and higher management lead with their respective responsibilities. Therefore, change management is essential for everybody in education. The agenda for today is as being put forward. It's quite a long agenda, but I'm sure we'll cover it very smoothly. And this will cover, of course, the introduction. We'll understand what change management is, what is the importance of change management to organizations, what are the strategies for successful change management, the types of change management models very briefly, but I'll pick on two particular models. One is the Prosci-Adkar model, and the other one is the Kotter's 8-step change model. And I will explain why I picked on these particular two models in my presentation. Then I would like to give a case study of implementing change in a case where an institution is going under accreditation, because we all know that accreditations are important aspects of our institutions, and normally they come with a lot of extra effort and the many change in the work style which needs to be adapted. So we'll try to discuss the two models, the ADCAR and the Kotter model, in trying to implementing an accreditation approach in a university. And if we have time, we'll take another case study model if we want to introduce a project-based learning and see how ADCAR model and Kotter models can assist. Then we'll discuss overcoming resistance to change and briefly on best practices for leaders, and we'll have our conclusion after that. So we'll delve today into the essential aspect of leadership within this ever-evolving world of education. We all know change is not just common these days, it's inevitable. And as leaders in academia, it's our responsibility not only to acknowledge this reality, but also to navigate it skillfully. Of course, in this rapidly changing educational landscape, we're constantly faced with new technologies, methodologies, societal demands. So effective leadership, in fact, requires us not only to adapt these changes, but also to lead our institutions through them. So it's not enough just to simply acknowledge change. We must actively manage it. This means creating strategies, fostering innovation, and guiding our teams through transitions. Change management isn't just about reacting to shifts. In fact, it is about proactively shaping them to align with our institutional goals and values. So let us understand what change management is. So what exactly is change management? It is about guiding individuals, teams, and our entire institutions through the process of transitioning from where we are now to where we want to be. Why does this matter for universities? Well, change management is what allows us to adapt to the ever-changing or evolving landscape of higher education. It helps us tackle challenges head-on, seize new opportunities, and foster innovation to stay ahead of the curve. Now, we'll break this into the key elements of effectively change management. These are as listed here. First is planning. Planning involves carefully mapping our strategy for change, setting our goals, and outlining the steps needed to achieve them. Communication is second. Keeping everyone informed and engaged throughout the process is very essential. Clear and open communication builds trust and buy-in from the stakeholders. The stakeholder management. So if we speak of stakeholders, involving them in the change process ensures that their perspectives are heard and their concerns are addressed early on, before getting to a stage where the stakeholders have got different perspectives. So putting them right from the beginning is important. Training. We need to equip our teams with the skills and knowledge that they need to adapt to new ways of working. This is crucial for success, of course. Then we need to monitor progress. We need to continually assess our progress, identify any obstacles, and make adjustments as needed so as to stay on track. So by incorporating these key elements in our approach to change management, we can navigate transitions more effectively and ensure a smoother journey towards our desired state. The next slide talks about the importance of change management. And of course, I think we all know the importance of change management. But let's see why change management is absolutely crucial for our organizations. Here's why. First, it boosts the likelihood for success of any change we're aiming for. Secondly, it helps us keep disruptions and resistance to change to a bare minimum. Thirdly, it's a morale booster. Better change management means more happier and more engaged employees. And last but not least, it ensures that we actually reap the benefits we set out to achieve with the change in the first place. So this could be to meet new technological advances, to meet new customer demands, to comply with new regulations from the government, to increase efficiencies. Change is always there. So in a nutshell, change management isn't just a nice to have thing. In fact, it's a must have for us to thrive in this constantly evolving landscape. And in fact, some big institutions have got change management managers who are only dedicated to ensure that change processes take place according to plan. So what are the strategies for successful change management? This include, first, engaging the stakeholders. This means involving our faculty, staff, students, and any other stakeholders in the change process early on. When everyone feels involved and heard, we gain their buy-in and ownership of the change. Next, we have to provide ample resources. So it is essential to allocate enough resources, whether it be time, budget, or training to support with our change initiatives. Without proper resources, even the best laid plans can fall short. Thirdly, we need to foster a culture of adaptability. This involves cultivating an organizational culture that values flexibility, resilience, and continuous learning. When our team is open to change and innovation, we are better equipped to navigate the transitions more smoothly. Lastly, we need to monitor progress. Regularly assessing how our change initiatives are progressing allows us to identify any challenges early on and make necessary adjustments to ensure success. So by implementing these strategies, we can effectively manage change and steer our organization towards our desired outcomes. In the next slide, we look at the change management models. The change management models is in the next slide. They are like roadmaps that helps us guide us through the process of leading change effectively. Now, change management models are divided in two categories. One is process focused, and this normally deals with institutions at a larger level, and other models are people focused. And we'll go through some of them, maybe a couple of them very briefly. So the process focused models, these are about outlining specific steps and procedures we need to follow to make change happen. And as you can see here, there are a few models. There is the Kotter's 8-step change model, the Lewin's change model, the Deming's cycle, McKinsey's 7S model, the people focus. I've got Adkar model of change, the nudge theory, Satir change model, and so on and so forth. We are going to focus in my presentation in two change models. Why? Because I believe that the first one, the Kotter 8-step change model and the Adkar model, they give a more logical approach and more systemized approach to making change. So when considering change management models for universities, adopting both Kotter's model, which is the people from the process focused, and adopting the Adkar model, which is from the people focused, adopting both of these models offers a comprehensive approach that addresses different aspects of organizational change. Kotter's model emphasizes the importance of leadership and creating a sense of urgency, which is particularly relevant in academic institutions, where faculty, as we know, and staff sometimes may be resistant to change. This model provides a structured framework for guiding change initiatives, including steps such as establishing a sense of urgency, forming a powerful guiding coalition, and communicating the vision for change. In the university context, we know where there be many diverse stakeholders and complex decision-making processes, Kota's model, I believe, can provide clarity and direction for change leaders. On the other hand, the ADKAR model, of course, we'll go through them briefly, focuses on individual change and transition. It identifies the 5 key elements for successful change at the individual level, of course. This includes awareness of the change, the desire, the knowledge of the change, the ability to make the change, and the reinforcement. This model is beneficial in universities because it acknowledges that change ultimately occurs through the actions and behaviors of individuals within the organization. So by understanding and addressing the specific challenges and concerns of faculty, staff, and students, universities can effectively implement the initiatives. So by combining both of these models, the Kota's model, which addresses organizational leadership and direction, with the ADKAR model, which focuses on individual change, I believe the universities can create a comprehensive change management strategy. This approach ensures that change initiatives are guided by strong leadership and vision, while also addressing the needs and concerns of the people within the organization. Ultimately, this dual approach, Kotas and ADKAR, can help universities navigate complex changes more effectively and increases the likelihood of successful implementation. I have already explained why I've chosen Kota's model and ADKAR model. Now let's go into a bit more details. Let's pick on ProSci's ADKAR model. ProSci's ADKAR model was formed by a renowned framework, of course, by Jeff Hayati. ProSci comes from professional and science. It is for understanding how individuals navigate through change, and a lot of researches have been done by Bell Technologies in the States to this effect. It's a very structured approach that helps us manage change at the individual level, focusing on 5 crucial milestones individuals must reach to embrace change successfully. Let's look at those key milestones. First stage of the ADKAR model is awareness. So what is awareness? Awareness is about making sure that everyone understands why change is necessary and what is driving it. To achieve this, we need to communicate the reasons behind the change. If it's abrupt, people will always resist. We need to communicate the reasons behind the change, including any challenges or, in fact, opportunities it presents. It's also important to highlight the consequences of not changing, emphasizing why a particular initiative of change is so crucial. For instance, if we say we're implementing a new technology platform to improve efficiency and stay competitive in the market, we would then need to communicate why this change is happening and what benefits it brings. So creating awareness, as you can see, is crucial as a first stage for individuals to start accepting and buying in to the change. Next is the desire. So desire is about creating a positive attitude and motivation towards the change among individuals. To achieve this, we need to engage in open communication. We should address any concerns and actively seek input from our stakeholders. Additionally, we must demonstrate the benefits of change and how it aligns with both individual and organizational goals. Again, for instance, if we're introducing a new technology platform, we might offer training sessions and share success stories from early adopters to inspire enthusiasm and the motivation. So if we have established awareness, we've built desire in the individual, next is to have enough knowledge. You cannot make change management without the individuals having enough knowledge about the change you're about to have. So equipping individuals with the information and skills necessary to support the change is crucial. To achieve this, we need to offer comprehensive training programs, workshops, or resources that build knowledge and capabilities. It's also important to ensure individuals have access to relevant documentation, user guides, or in fact support materials. For instance, if we're implementing the same example of a new technology platform, we may conduct hands-on workshops and provide online tutorials to familiarize employees with its features and functionalities. So after creating desire, knowledge gives more information of what is involved in that change. Next logical stage is to build the ability. If the staff have got the knowledge of the change, they need to be able to do the change. So ability is about empowering individuals to effectively implement the change in their roles or tasks. To accomplish this, we need to offer ongoing support, coaching, or mentoring to help individuals apply their knowledge in practice. Also crucial to create opportunities for individuals to gain hands-on experience and gradually building confidence in their abilities. Knowledge is understanding, ability is really having hands-on experience of the change. That builds confidence, as I mentioned. Last but not least, reinforcement. This is about sustaining the change and ensuring it becomes ingrained in the organization culture and processes. So to achieve this, we need to celebrate successes, we need to recognize achievements, and acknowledge individuals who contribute to the change effort. Also important to monitor progress here, to gather feedback and make any adjustments to address any ongoing challenges or resistance we may face. Taking the same example, we may establish a reward and recognition program to acknowledge employees who demonstrate proficiency in using technology platform and contribute to its successful adoption. So the 5 steps of ADKAR model, by focusing on these 5 elements, which is awareness, desire, knowledge, ability, and reinforcement, the ADKAR model provides a practical framework for managing change at the individual level, helping organizations navigate effectively and to achieve the success they intend to. This is as far as individuals are concerned. Now we look at the Kotter's 8-step change model. This was developed by John Kotter. It offers organizations a structured approach to navigate change more effectively. This model outlines sequential steps to facilitate successful organizational transformation. Now, let's break them down into the into the 8 steps. First and foremost is to create urgency. So these steps involves establish a sense of urgency among stakeholders by communicating the need for the change and, of course, the risks of maintaining the status quo. Here we highlight market trends, competitive pressures, or even, in fact, internal challenges to galvanize support for the change initiative. Also, encouraging open dialogue and debate helps build consensus around the need for change. So this is number 1. Second, after creating the sense of urgency, we need to form a powerful coalition. Here we assemble a diverse and influential coalition of leaders and stakeholders who are committed to driving the change effort. We identify individuals with formal authority, expertise, and credibility who can be champions to champion this initiative, to overcome the resistance. We need to foster collaboration and alignment among coalition members to ensure a unified approach to change. Thirdly, we need to create a clear vision. Here we develop a compelling vision that paints a picture of the desired future state and inspires others to join the change effort. It's crucial to clearly communicate the vision, highlighting the benefits and opportunities associated with achieving the desired outcomes. We ensure that the vision is aligned with organizational values and goals and the strategic priorities to enhance its relevance and appeal. So staff know that we're not working from vacuum. This is in line with the organizational values and goals and priorities. Communicating vision. We'll keep repeating communication is key in this step. We consistently and frequently need to communicate a change vision across the organization, of course, using various channels and mediums. We need to tailor messages. We need to tailor messages to different stakeholder groups, and this is essential, of course. Encouraging two-way communication helps solicit feedback, addressing misconceptions, and buying in for the vision. Am I heard? Is everything going according to plan? Is everything fine?
Okay.
Everything is fine.
Good, thank you. I'm also conscious about the time. So the fourth, the vision, of course, is essential, and encouraging two-way communication helps solicit any feedback, misconceptions, and buy-in. The fifth step in the Curtis model involves empowering all employees at all levels to take ownership of the change initiative and hence contribute to its success. We need to remove barriers and obstacles that hinder progress, such as bureaucratic processes, outdated policies and resources, and so on. We need to provide resources, training, and support to make sure that everybody is in line and is well resourced to manage the change. Sixth is to generate short-term wins. So if we identify quick wins and milestones that can demonstrate progress, that can build momentum for the change initiative. Of course, it's important to celebrate success, recognize achievements, and reward individuals. Using early victories helps reinforce the credibility of the change effort and inspires confidence in the potential for its potential success. 7, we need to consolidate the gains and produce more change. Here, of course, we consolidate gains achieved through the early wins. We reinforce new behaviors, processes, and practice to embed the change into organizational culture and DNA. We continuously evaluate progress, adjust strategies as needed, and pursuit of additional opportunities for improvement as essential. The last but not least is we need to anchor new approaches in the culture. Once we've done all the 7 steps, we need to institutionalize the change by embedding new approaches, values, and norms in the organizational culture. We have to align our systems, processes, policies. We need to develop leadership capabilities and organizational capabilities to adapt to future changes and challenges effectively. So by following this 8-step, organizations can navigate the complexities of change management and achieve lasting transformation, enabling them, of course, to thrive in this dynamic environment. Now, how do we apply these models practically? As you know, people should be asking. It looks quite complicated, and we have to prepare the individuals first, and then it's not that complicated. We can integrate the 2 models. We can integrate the 2 models, and in fact, act on some of the models in a parallel manner and in a sequential manner. To make for time, we can, in fact, integrate the 2 models. Now, to be able to clarify this, we'll take a quick example of how we can use this change models to, for example, you do an accreditation for an institution. As I said before, higher education institutions need to start creating awareness. Accreditation, one of the key requirements in all universities, but it is demanding. So how do we make staff buy into the process? We will go through the ADCAR model to deal with the accreditation process particularly. So to start with, we'll have to start with the awareness. The higher education institution will start creating the awareness among faculty and staff about the benefits and importance of accreditation. They will communicate the purpose clearly, requirements, and the potential impacts on the institution's reputation and student outcomes. Next, they need to create the desire. Then, they will focus on fostering desire among the stakeholders by highlighting the potential benefits and by demonstrating how accreditation aligns with their professional goals and the institution and the mission of the institution. Next, knowledge. The institution then provides training and resources to enhance stakeholders' knowledge about the accreditation process, so everybody understands exactly what's expected from him, the criteria and the standards. This ensures that they understand the expectation and can be actively participate in the meetings. Then we need to have the ability built in. So we need to support stakeholders in developing the necessary skills and abilities so that they can contribute effectively to the process. This may involve workshops, coaching, mentoring, and enhancing their capabilities. Then, of course, we have to reinforce. Throughout the accreditation journey, the institution needs to reinforce the benefits, progress, and successes achieved. They need to provide regular updates, recognize and celebrate milestones, and emphasize the value of everyone's efforts as normally done. This at individual level. At the institutional level, if we also plan that we are not only looking at the individuals but also the institution as a whole, in the institution we need to start creating urgency. We need to communicate the need for accreditation and the risks of not achieving it. Of course, we highlight market trends, competitive pressures, and the benefits of accreditation to galvanize the support. Then we need to form a powerful coalition. We assemble leaders and stakeholders who are committed to achieving the accreditation. Always you have staff who are involved and who can become champions of this. Then we need to create a compelling vision for accreditation, emphasizing its alignment with the institution mission and strategic goals. We communicate the vision and the benefits of accreditation to inspire and mobilize stakeholders. For example, we can say that this is not just accreditation. This because of the unwavering commitment the institution has to excellence in education. So the vision for change is centered on transforming accreditation into a catalyst for innovation and not just another headache for the staff. Then we need to communicate the vision. The institution communicates the accreditation vision consistently and transparently to all the stakeholders. Then we empower broad-based action. This is done by empowering all employees at all levels to take ownership and provide them resources, training and support, and enable individuals and teams contribute. We need to generate short-term wins. We need to identify quick wins and milestones. We celebrate success, and we need to recognize individuals who are contributing positively to the outcomes. We need to consolidate the gains and produce more change by consolidating the gains achieved through accreditation and leveraging them to drive further change and improvement. This reinforces new behavior and practices to embed accreditation in the institutional culture. Then we need to anchor these new approaches in the culture, and so we need to institutionalize accreditation by embedding new approaches, values, and norms in the culture. We need to align our systems, structures, processes to support and sustain accreditation in the long term and not just one-off. So by combining both ADCAR and Kotter models, as you can see, we can navigate successfully through accreditation in a more convincing and buy-in from the staff. Now, I do notice that we have a shortage of time, but quickly, I want to mention that there are some, if you're adapting both models, the Kotter's model and the ProSci model or ADCAR model, we can in fact have some parallel application. We can take awareness from ADCAR and urgency and deal with them in parallel. And we can take desire and the power of forming a coalition from Kotter and parallel. This can help you reduce time. And, time is always in short, of course. We always have a shortage of time in institutions. And so we can have some parallel models, one from each model, and we can have sequential application depending on the need and the nature of the application. For example, knowledge and creating a vision for stakeholders can follow each other. The ability and communicating the vision, if you build the ability, then you communicate the vision, it becomes more acceptable. If you reinforce and then empower, it becomes more acceptable. So by combining both the ADKAR and Kota models, you can reduce time, but also successfully, win the change management approach to institutions. Now, I'm not going to have time to go through another user case, which was to do with project-based learning, but you'll have this. And let's talk a little bit about overcoming resistance to change. First, it's essential to identify and address any underlying concerns and fears that may be fueling resistance to change amongst the team. We need to make sure to clearly communicate the benefits and reasoning behind the proposed changes. This will help alleviate any uncertainty or skepticism that may arise. People, if they understand, they become more accepting of the initiatives. We also need to empower employees by involving them in all the decision-making processes and providing opportunities for their input and feedback. This not only enhances their ownership, but also ensures that their perspectives are considered. Lastly, we need to be mindful of the emotional impact of change and strive to address any emotional reactions that may arise. It's important to acknowledge and validate those feelings while providing support and encouragement to those affected. We're coming almost to the end. I mean, there are some takeaways for us. There are some essential best practices for leaders. Number one is we need to lead by example. It's crucial for leaders to demonstrate resilience, adaptability, and a positive attitude towards change. This sets the tone for the entire team and inspires confidence in the change process. If the leader of the institution is not part of the team, the inspiration may be difficult to achieve. Effective communication will have to emphasize the importance of fostering open and transparent communication channels. This ensures that stakeholders are well informed and engaged throughout the journey of change. Empowering others, delegating responsibilities is important, and empowering teams to take ownership of the change is key. It encourages collaboration and innovation while also dealing with trust, building trust with the team. Then we need to celebrate success, recognizing and celebrating achievement and milestones along the change is essential. It boosts morale, motivates team, and reinforces the importance of change. Our conclusion and takeaways from this is that change management is vital for university leadership. And not only leadership, we are all leaders. When I talk about leadership, it doesn't mean only the vice chancellors and the deputies. Even lecturers are leaders in the classes. It guides transitions, it fosters innovation, and it achieves strategic goals. Let's embrace change as an opportunity for growth and transformation. It's essential to lead change initiatives with a clear vision, courage, and empathy. By doing so, we pave the way for a brighter future in academia. Thank you. If there's some questions, I'll happily take them. There are also some recommended reading materials. Before we leave, after the questions, I would request our colleagues to give some feedback by scanning this barcode and answering a 2-minute question. Thank you, everybody, for being with me.
Okay, thank you very much for this.
If you go to the last slide, Doctor, it's got a barcode and the details. That will help. The very last slide.
Okay. So please, will you kindly share the slides with the participants?
Yes, we'll share the slides, but the colleague helping me to change, you can go to the very last slide. It will show. And there's a barcode. I would like some input from the colleagues. If you keep going after the conclusions, the very last slide, I'll appreciate. And you can take questions after that.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you very much for this wonderful paper. To make this presentation.
Yeah, that's the background.
Okay. For that, this is a one-day program organized by Maryam Abacha American University of Nigeria, and we are moving to the next paper, which is going to be delivered by Dr. Fabio Carbon from United Kingdom. And sir, please, you have 30 minutes for your presentation. This is due to the time factor. And the third presenter will also have 30 minutes, at the end of which we are going to have a question and answer session for all the presentations. Thank you very much. The mic is yours, sir.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Some echo. Can you hear me well? Okay, first of all, I would like to thank Professor Mohamed Israr and Maryam Abacha American University in Nigeria, and congratulate them for this quite important, useful and innovative initiatives, this faculty development program. I was reading some of the comments in the chat from the participants, and it looks like they're all enthusiastic about what is going on here. So really, congratulations for this important initiative. I will provide my contribution about something that all of us should reflect upon, which is the art of storytelling. And in this sense, I'm talking for those who have basically daily contact with the students. So the question is, how do we pass the message and the content to the student? And but also, like in this moment, all those early career researchers who, among their duties, have those of communicate their results, and many of the times they are engaged in presentations, in international conference, etc. So, okay, what is one of the best way to engage the audience, to engage the students? Because here we talk, the colleague before me, he was talking about open communication, the importance of the capacity of leading with the stakeholders. Okay, but the students, they must have a lot of knowledge, but also a lot of skills in order to engage with them, and we can be a model for them. So the art of storytelling, and finally I will talk just a couple of slides about one of the techniques that we can use within the storytelling. So first of all, what is a story? Why it is important to talk about storytelling when we are aiming to pass a message. The story is something that hit the person who's listening, hit the heart, hit the emotion of the person. So the information that we are trying to pass not only is reduced to the mere content, but also we are somehow make the audience feeling somehow see the information. So the fact that this information is emotionally absorbed make it this kind of learning experience more effective. Okay, so there is a literature about this. This is the importance of stories. This is the importance of story that nowadays, and why it is important to talk about storytelling. Well, because nowadays it's not so much about stories, it's more about the means of communication. So it is quite easy to get completely obsessed by the means, okay, and forgetting the content. This happened so many times, and this happened particularly to our students. Why? Because they are digital, what we call digital natives. Okay, so our generation, we can be considered more or less having more or less digital literacy, but they are digital native. This is a huge challenge for professors, for educators, because what we have is, as I was saying, this obsession with the meaning of communication, and somehow we overlook, they surely overlook the contents that they are communicating, and they do not feel engaged with the content that we are communicating. Okay, so here is, first of all, the importance of talking about stories. Okay, we have to rediscover the importance of the stories. Why? For a simple reason. Because even if we have so much technologies around us everywhere, even this very initiatives is possible thanks to technologies. Technologies are good, of course, but in our brain, we have, as human beings, 10,000 of years of evolution and a kind of program that cannot be deleted in just 20, 30 years, okay, from the digital revolution. And what is at the basis of our evolution as human beings? One of the things is exactly this, the stories. Even what we find in the caves of the prehistoric or protohistoric, the humans, is what? Drawings. And they were drawing because they did not know how to pass to the next generation in any other way their stories. But this was their will. Everything was around their life, their present, their current moment, and the way to communicate this through stories. And this was a fundamental moment in the life of everyone, in the daily life of everyone for 10,000 years. Okay? So forget about the television. The television arrived in our houses in the 50s, in the 60s, okay, as a mass consumption of television programs. There was the radio, but still the radio was about stories. So for 10,000 years, we engaged in telling and listening stories. So this is one of the most effective way of attracting the attention of our audience, students, or the people in the conferences. Okay, and this is not something, apparently, is not something completely new. the expert of marketing, they know very well about it. They know very well about it because, and they value this because they have to sell. So there is something among us as educators that we don't have in comparison with the marketeers, which is the dictatorship of selling. But this dictatorship sometimes is good because it push towards innovation or rediscovering things that are and means that are effective in terms of communication. So they have to sell. So they have to be the best in communicating. I have here an example. Nike, as a marketeers, they know about the stories of Muslim women. They launched this campaign. Here you have, okay, how they launched this campaign, how they support this campaign. It's not about the object in itself. The object in itself is clear. If you go to this link, you will find pages and pages of stories of Muslim men and women in the history of many sports. Stories, once again, to reach and to convince the public about their quality and about their message. Okay, so I'm not telling anything, I'm not saying anything new here. I'm just saying something that sometimes we forget within education, within the academic community. Okay, while other areas, like for example marketing, they know very well about this already. Okay, everything is about storytelling. So, what is storytelling? Storytelling is a process in which learning is structured around a story, a narrative. Okay, something that makes sense. Okay, so something that makes sense. So I have a content that I want to transmit, and I'm going to transmit not necessarily talking about strictly this content, but embed this content on a story. That most of the time, and the more you exercise and practice this method of teaching, the more you understand that the best way is embed the contents on personal stories, on your stories. And we are going to see why. Okay? These stories can be told in many ways. Okay? Me personally, I can make an example. If I don't talk about personal stories, I can propose a movie. I can propose even a song. How many of my classes start with music? Because the lyrics of those music, they talk exactly about what the content I want to expose in that day. Not directly, of course, but this is the main thing. You turn on the brain of your students. You turn on the brain of your audience in order to then start to create bridges. Okay? This is the most important thing. A little bit of history, as I was saying before. Those who were able to say stories in the past, they were at the center of the tribes, at the center of the communities. Most of the history we know today start to be transmitted by storytellers, okay? And we talked about this before. With the creation of the new technology, etc., this capacity, this, let's say, this vocation of someone, because let's be honest also, we can practice a lot, but there are some skill that we can acquire, but there is also a vocation of the people, of some people, to communicate and to transform their stories in a mean to transmit content. Okay, so we naturally talk about this. We naturally add more or less stories in our conversation daily. Okay, now what is the key here is the growing awareness about the level of effectiveness that this method has. As I said before, some areas are more aware, other areas, among the educators, for example, they are starting to consider more and more and more this method. Okay, why? For a simple reason that this is a reflective, creative, and formalized manner to transmit and facilitate knowledge. A very effective way to engage and involve our students in order for them to retain as much as possible of what we want to transmit. And this is not simply is more intuitive areas like cinema, theater, history. Of course, we talk about stories, okay? But in all the realms, all the areas of education, economics, management, we're talking here. Yes, why not? Don't be shy to try and to bring a song into your classrooms and to bring part of a movie that in your mind, because if that song, that lyrics in your mind makes you remember about something, so try to reproduce the same effect on the students. Okay, propose the song, listen to the song together, and then make the links between the song and what you want to transmit to them. Okay. Now, obviously, there are, as I said before, this is something that is quite instinctual in human beings, telling stories. Now, if, as I said before, if we want to use this as a formalized way of teaching and transmit content, well, then of course we have to understand that there are rules and standards. Okay, rules. The stories, they have components. Okay, there are the characters, the story, the beginning, the middle, and the end, and then something extremely important. And here we have the moment of engagement, the challenge or complication. Okay, the challenge when we talk about the story. This is, so we need the characters, the plot. We talk about basically a challenge, a complication. About this, we make understand the challenge to the students, okay? And then we expose the choice, the solution we found for the challenge, and the follow-up, okay? This is basically what in 2010, but already in the 90s, the literature proposed to us as main components of our stories, okay? Now, as I said before, the more you practice this method, the more you understand that there is nothing better, there is no better source of stories than yourself. Why? For a simple reason. Because the stories you're going to talk about are your stories, okay? And let's imagine, we talk about the SDGs, right? So, of course, there is a work, a backstage, no? like the preparation of the class need a backstage, need the preparation, etc. So we want to talk about sustainable development goals. Yes, but how sustainable development goals enter in my life? Why? So start from there. Don't start from the theory. Start from your story. Let's see. I'm going to give you now some tips, okay, on how to organize these classes based on this method. First of all, again, what is your story? What are your passion? Why am I talking about sustainable development goals? Because the other day I was making a report about they asked me for a bio, and I was going back in times and see when I start to work with sustainable development goals. And I discovered, I was not even thinking about this, but I discovered that I work with the Sustainable Development Goals even before the creation of the Sustainable Development Goals. Because I started to work with this in 2004 when I was a student, and I started to get engaged with that because I do believe in what at that time, they call it a Millennium Development Goals, okay? Then develop in Sustainable Development Goals. So I discovered that, gee, it's 20 years I'm on this. And why? Because it's my passion. So there is nothing better than making a work that allow us to build on our passion. And for sure, with all the negative things of the administrative stuff and the task of administrative task and other things like this. Yes, but there are not so many works like the works in academia that allow us, exactly like artists do, to live of our passion. Okay. When I talk to my students, I talk about things that I'm passionate about. Okay. Otherwise, close everything and go home, change your job. Okay. So no, we have this privilege of working and building on something we are passionate about. Okay. So again, the example of the Sustainable Development Goals. Okay. This was my passion for 20 years. So now imagine entering the classroom and say, okay, today we are going to talk about the SDG. The SDG started in 2015. They were created in 2013. Then there was a space where at the United Nations, my students, exactly like your students, are going to fall asleep after this 10 seconds. And why? Because their capacity of attention is reduced compared with our capacity of keep focusing on something compared with our generation. Why? Again, because of the new technology. Okay, so studies, neurological studies, they demonstrate that the capacity of keeping attention, keep focusing in new generation is between 5 and 15 seconds. Okay, so if you don't catch their attention in these 15 seconds, you are done. You can keep the classroom can continue for 4 hours, but you both are wasting time. Now, completely different thing is if I enter in the classroom and I say, guys, today I'm going to talk about something I'm extremely passionate about. And at the end of this class, you are going to be passionate about this also. Something that is going to change the world, I'm sure. And I'm telling you my story. You make it click, okay? You catch immediately their attention, okay? And you start with your story, okay? Now, what that means? It means I'm not going to sell to the students the SDGs. I'm going to sell to the student my story, okay? My story is something that I don't have to go to the best literature. We will arrive there. But first, I look closer. Okay? I look at myself. I look at home. I look what is happening around me. I look what happened to the students. Okay? but in particular, my own stories. So focus on yourself, okay? And this is the first part of the work. Okay. The second part of the work is that when you are going to talk about this to the students, yes, of course, it's not going to be something that was always easy. So what was the main challenge in this case, in this example I'm using for you, in joining this campaign of the United Nations since 2004? What happened? Because in 2004, my age was more or less the age of my students. So eventually the difficulties that I found at the time are going to be exactly the same difficulties that they're going to find in understanding sustainability, in understanding the Sustainable Development Goals and the history of the Sustainable Development Goals, how they're going to be applied. Okay, so once again, it's all about the story. Okay, because once again, people are going to be connected with the story, and there is where they're going to build. Exactly like I build on my own passion. If you transmit this, they are going to start building on that too. Okay, so it's your life. Okay, it's going to be something that we know as transformative experience. What is transformative experience? Transformative experience, and you need to be really good if you want to provide a transformative experience to your students, to your audience. Transformative experience means that if your students are the students that are entering into the classroom at 9 o'clock, when they leave the classroom at 12, they left the classroom as a different person. It took 3 hours to transform their life. Every single day with a little piece more and more and more and more. And you are not going to do this through the mere communication and information about contents, okay? Information about literature. You are not going to do this like in this way, okay? You're going to do this by sharing your life with them, your stories, your failures, your victories and success, okay? Because when you start the complication, they will start to understand that not everything is linear, and they will start to understand that, okay, if this guy that I like him, he's a model to me. If this guy he has a problem with this, well, of course I'm going to have problem with this. So let me see how he respond to the complication, okay, to the challenge, and let me see how I would respond to the challenge. You see, like the colleague before me was talking about engage with stakeholder, foster a culture of adaptability. It was a wonderful presentation. Okay, but how do you do this? Exactly like this. You put the students not just in a passive way, listening to a set of norms and information that are not engaging. No, you put them in a challenging situation. That was your own challenging situation, and you are passing to them. Okay? So, what would you have done in that situation? This hooked the audience immediately. Of course, we have to master, all of us academics, we have to master the art of rhetoric, no? Cicero create, or at least start to build, was one of the main person who started to build on this art of rhetoric. Why? Because most of our work, our job, our task is talking to communicate our results in terms of research, talking to the students, talking with the partners, etc., etc., etc. This is always a problem. So Caesar creates something that he called in Latin captatio benevolentiae. What was the captatio benevolentiae? It was the way you hook the audience with something that you have to be creative about this. When you enter in a room, you have to capture immediately hook the attention of the audience and the interest of the audience. Okay? And everything we are talking about, proposing a challenge immediately, proposing your story immediately, this is one of the ways to capture this goodwill of the audience to follow you until the end. At this point, well, it's done. You just have to start, put all this in your presentation. Normally, what I always suggest, not to put too much text in your presentation. If it's true that it's going to be your story, it's going to be something that is emotional, well, try to prefer rather pictures, music. Okay, we're going to talk about this now in the end. Okay, because the students are not going to read, and when you are in a conference, even less. People are not so much interested because I'm just coming back from a conference. Now, think about something. Even if you see the audience reading your result there, the conference is going to take 3 days. The audience is going to assist, participate in tens of presentations now. Why they are going to remind you? Yes, they were reading in those 5 minutes that you had, but they're not going to remind you. They're not going to remember what they were reading. Yeah, they will probably take some notes that they will forget in the hotel room. Okay? Something is different is then when you catch their interest, their attention, and you talk about a story. My last presentation, a few days ago, in an international conference, I did not even put a PowerPoint behind me. Okay? I just talk about the story. I just talk about how we invented research, how we arrived there, who was involved in the research, which kind of, again, okay, remember always the main components, okay? Characters, the plot, the complication or challenge, how do I solve the situation, and then building on this, now reflecting on this. So this is extremely important. So understanding what was the complication, transmitting the challenge, and how you finally fulfill the mission, the task that you had. And once again, there is no source better than you in terms of source of stories. Okay. Finally, when you explain how you overcome the challenge, the complication, and what leads you to learn a lesson, well, this lesson that in the beginning was a lesson learned by one individual, you, at this point is a lesson learned for 5, 10, in these cases, 4,000 people at the same time. So it's powerful. Storytelling is powerful. This storytelling has this kind of power, bringing the people at the same point where you arrive through your experience, through your studies, through your putting yourself constantly in the challenge, outside of the box, outside of the comfort zone. Okay. not necessarily talking about something positive. You can talk about something negative. Okay. When we talk about strategy, you know what I talk about? I am a professor in the module of strategic management. When we talk about strategy, you know what? The first couple of classes, we don't talk about management. We just try to understand what strategy is. You know what we talk about? We talk about my choices when I was a kid, when I was young, in terms of why you did, for example, I did not make my PhD immediately after the master degree. Okay, let's reflect about this. Okay. Apparently, it was a waste of time. Eventually, it was not. Otherwise, I was not good as I am today. Better than many other. Okay, so you understand the strategy here. So let me know what you think about your future. How do you apply on your life the strategy? So again, okay, what is the response? What is the story? And how you apply what you learn from the story to your own life? In the end of a couple of classes, I know for sure that everyone in the classroom knows what strategy, strategic approach, long-term approach means. And we did not even talk about management. Okay, perfect. So this is the importance of storytelling. Now, once again, challenge yourself, push yourself also, and invent and experiment new tactics and way to teach. Some of them, they eventually can look silly, but exactly because they look silly, they're going to work, because they're going to catch the attention of your students. Now, the transformation, as I said, is going to be the transformation. The transformation that was the transformation of one individual is going to be the transformation of many in the end of each classroom, in the end of each presentation. Okay, so this is the journey. Just a couple of things more. I want to talk about this, the idea of using the pictures. Okay, as I said, you have many sources. You can just turn off the computer and talk about your own experience in life. Okay, and see what you learn from that. Okay, you can show a specific scene of a movie and comment on that, or something different is according to what you also want to share with them, and what you want, how do you want to inspire them or engage them, is using pictures. This is something silly, at the same time something funny, at the same time something that you can propose to your students and say, okay guys, what are you seeing here? Now, I use this this picture to start the conversation with my students about tourism in developing countries. Okay, if you start from here and you ask your students to put a number of keywords that they immediately have when they watch this picture, you are going to be amazed about the result. And then share those keywords, and then pushing a little bit more. Okay, and okay, what about the difference of age? Why this person is not only an old person, is a white person together with this girl, and there is where you start to invent also, because you have an end, your objective is clear in your mind, but you are going to create a journey. okay, for your students, okay. And what you're going to, when I show this picture, we arrive from this picture to talk about tourism and neocolonialism, okay. Or we're going to talk about economics impact and environmental impact of every impact of tourism. Everything starting from this picture, okay. So, or this picture, we talk about again the volunteer tourism, etc. Okay, a lot of wonderful debates. Okay, so this is the power you have in your hands, and well, if you want, share with me what you have in your classroom and the result of the experience here. Okay, thank you very much.
Hello.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Hello, sir. Please, can you hear me loud and clear? Can you please hear me, please?
Me?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for this wonderful presentation. It's really a very good one, and we really commend you for this presentation. Thank you. Because of the time factor, I will quickly rush to the next presentation, which is going to be delivered by Dr. Muhammad Zubair Khan. And please, because of the time, I will have to say this. You have 30 minutes, please, for this presentation. Thank you so much, sir, for your cooperation and understanding. Thank you. The mic is yours, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Muhammad Zubair Khan. I would like to thanks to Dr. Israr and his team, especially the university, who organize such kind of event. So today we are going to discuss about effective classroom management. So what is classroom management? So a method and strategies a teacher uses a classroom environment that is conducive to student success and learning. Involve the effective use of your time in classroom to be a productive possible. Next, we are going to discuss about classroom management strategies. And one of the most important strategy is lead. Lead your class, and your mantra is I am a teacher, I am the teacher, and I am the teacher. Practice. Practice consistency. If the rules are set, follow through with the consequences. Engage. Engage the students in creating best practices policy for classrooms. Demonstrate. Demonstrate acceptable behavior. Treat the student with the same respect as you demand. Play. Play a game to demonstrate the need for rules. Divide the class into groups. Play Scrabble. Half of the groups play by the rules. The half does not, and discuss. Switch. Switch the activities if the students get out of the control. Signal. Have a signal that shows the class they are of task. Write and communicate. Know your expectations, write them out before the class shows up. Communicate your expectations to the class, display them, discuss with them. Time up. Time up with others in the classroom, ask them to help, reinforce the rules, setting guidelines for the classroom. With help, develop the respect that is needed so a student can do their best. Know the rules. Observe and ask. Observe a teacher who has a good classroom management skills. Borrow the best practices. We have to discuss with our friends and colleagues to borrow some good practices from them. Ask co-teachers for ideas or help. Take help from them. Ask them to come observe you and give your feedback. Learn, listen, and watch. Learn the triggers for when the class gets chaotic. Avoid or limit those triggers in the classroom. Listen to the students. If a student is expressing a certain behavior, address it quickly. Watch to see what engages the students. Start using more of those teaching techniques. Give a tangible rewards. Rewards specific students at the end of each lesson in front of the class as another motivational and behavioral reinforcement technique. Avoid punishing the class. Address isolated disciplines problems individually instead of punishing an entire class, as the latter can hurt your relationship with the students who are on task and thereby jeopardize other classroom management efforts. Make positive letters and phone calls. Keep students happy in and out of the class by pleasantly surprising their parents, making positive phone calls, and sending complimentary letters home. Build excitement for content and lesson plan. This one works well no matter the grade level. It's an elementary school, it's a middle school, high school, or in any university. Start lessons by previewing particularly exciting parts, hooking student interest from the get and go. So the students how being a good citizen start right now. Use non-verbal communications, complement words with actions and visual aids to improve content's delivery, helping students focus and process lessons. Video the class. Play back the video in the class and discuss the behavior, good or bad. And also, as our colleague discussed about the storytelling, you have to use here also. Other different types of free study times provide a range of activities during free study time to appeal to students who struggle to process contents in silence individually. Help a student group work run smoothly and effectively while writing contracts that contain guidelines, having everyone sign. Assign open-ended projects, encourage students to tackle open-ended projects and projects that don't demand a specific product to allow them to demonstrate knowledge in the ways that inherently suit them. This starts by giving the class a list of broad project ideas, asking each student to choose one. Be sure to provide a rubric for each project that clearly define the expectations. Use educational technology that adjusts to each student. Gives students who struggle to process your content opportunities to try to educational technology that adapts to their needs. There are many games and platforms that use adaptive learning principles to detect a given student's skill deficits, serving them contents to help overcome them. It's better to consider a peer teaching. Use peer teaching as a classroom management strategy if you feel your top performer can help engage and educate disruptive and struggling students. You can use for disrupted and poor student for peer teaching. Peer teaching activities such as pairing students together as reading buddies can be especially beneficial for students who suffer from low confidence and poor interpersonal skills. Group and mediate. Group students keep group engaged, rotate around the room, let the group moderate behavior, teach the students mediations, encourage them to mediate their own problems and issues in the classroom. For better classroom management, pedagogy is also very important. It's a word we use to describe the study of teaching as both an art and a science. In the first day, some elements you might to include in your first day class, the introduction. Introduce yourself and say why you are excited to be teaching the course. To make a positive relationship between students and their instructor can be major motivator in student learning. Let the students know something about you, foreground why you think this will be an interesting and useful course for them. Introduce the syllabus, course goals, and important course policies. Hopefully, students will read the syllabus on their own, but it can be useful to walk them through it anyway. Showing students how to read your syllabus can help them avoid confusion later. If you had rather not spend class time reading the syllabus, consider using adaptive release in Blackboard to have students take a short quiz on the syllabus before they can see other contents in the Blackboard sites. Introduce text, explain why you choose the text or other course material, where they can be purchased, and if there are less expensive options used or online, etc., which would be acceptable if you really want students to use a particular edition, and especially if the edition is pricey, explain why it is important that they get that edition and why it's worth the investment. Allow your students to introduce themselves to you and each other. There are many ways you might have a student do this by introducing each other and to you. The next to better class management is course design. Course design is a planning that instructor do before they enter the classroom. During this process, instructors reflect on their goals for student learning, activities, and reading to engage students, and how to know if students have achieved their goals. Backward course design, it describes a course planning process that starts by asking what students should know, be able to do, and think by the end of the course, and then works backwards to determine how students will get there. Step 1. Determine your learning goals. What do I hope students will retain from this course a year or more from now? Or what I want students to know, to do, and to value at the end of the course. These answers form the basis for your course learning goals. Try to make answer as specific as possible. The more specific your goals, the easier it will be to see if they have been met. For example, students will learn to think critically is a common goal, but how will they demonstrate this? How will they be able to show that they are thinking critically? A more specific goal might be something like students will write an argumentative paper using at least 5 sources. This goal would suggest that instructor wants student to learn argumentation skills. Framing the goal as thing that student will do will also help to keep the course student centered. So we have to make our goal that it should be a student centered. Step 2, narrow your learning goals. You may have several learning goals, but if you have more than 5 or 6, it will be difficult to accomplish them. If you had to narrow your goals down 2 or 3, that would they be? In your opinion, as the instructor, what are the most important things your course will teach? Step 3, determine how students will demonstrate their knowledge. Will students demonstrate knowledge with exam? How many exams? Both formal or informal writing show knowledge or more clearly, or would a presentation or product be a better way to judge what students know? Assignments can also be designed to incorporate more learning goals. Step 4, plan activities that will enable students to learn and practice what they need to know. What you teach and how you teach, it should flow logically from and align with your learning goals. In planning for teaching each topic or big idea, consider how you will hook students into topic and help them engage with and care about the content. Support them to explore the idea and practice the skills they need to master. Give them opportunities, revise, refine their understanding and abilities before being assessed on them. Reward and motivate, reward good behavior, motivate the student, build a relationship with the student, motivate them to reach beyond. Some obstacles to motivations, they may be the busy lives of the students, lack of interest, lack of confidence, a sense that they don't have to work or come to the class to do well. So busy lives, like many people's, students often have busy lives. At very least, they have to split their attention between several classes. They may also have a job or a family obligation that are further drain on their attention. A lack of interest, sometimes students just are not very interested in your subject. This occurs frequently in required courses. Lack of confidence is another reason. Many students come to the class with preconceived ideas of their ability in your subject area. I don't understand math, or I just a bad writer, something like that. If a student does not believe he is capable of doing well, it can be difficult for him to see why he should try. So if a student is not doing the work but is still getting a good grade, there is a little reason for her to change her behavior. There are two kinds of motivations: intrinsic motivations and extrinsic motivations. Intrinsic motivations occur when we do something for its own sake or because we enjoy it. Extrinsic motivations occur when we are compelled to do something by outside force, such as by grades, parental pressure, or social expectations. Instructor can use combination of both motivators to help student success. For example, a student may do an assignment initially because it's a part of his overall grade. But he may then discover that he enjoys the subject and will go a little deeper than he otherwise might have. Frequently asked questions about student motivations. They may be, how do I get a student to come to the class? So for this, give some credit for attendance or participations. If you are willing to assign credit for coming to the class, student will understand that it is important in your class. Use some information taught only in the class or exams. Keep class live by using active learning if students are not actually doing anything in class, or if they can find all necessary information in a book, then the reason for coming to the class may be unclear to them. So get to know a student by name, show up early to chat with them, use a photo roster to connect names with faces. How do I get a student participate in the class? For these questions, clarify for a student what you mean by participation. Different instructors have different expectations. Students are much more likely to perform up to your expectations if they know what they are. Reward participations with specific praise. The specificity of praise will indicate to students that they are doing well. Encourage them to continue. How do I get a student do the homework, including the reading? Make sure the homework or reading are connected to the class time in some way. If there does not seem to be any reason to complete reading or homework, students often would not bother. Have students write a short response to be discussed in the class and then collect it. Start class asking students to solve a difficult problem they were assigned as a homework. Use earlier homework assignments as a basis for a large project. Engage your student with active learning. Active learning is a general description for teaching strategies or style that requires students to participate in some way in the class, while form of interactions such as discussions, dialogue, debate, and group work are common in the small classes. They are less frequently employed in large lecture courses, often simply for logistical reasons. Effective grading. Grading is one of the more fraud experience of teaching and learning, students often find waiting for grade stressful, and sometimes they are so worried about the effect of a grade that they will argue about fraction of points. Instructors not only have to manage student stress about grading, but they also have to deal with their own. Why do we grade? There are two types of grading systems, that is, traditional and communication. If the grades were assigned and the later grades were for studies in Harvard, so although our grading system is deeply ingrained for modern people, it is a relatively recent development in the history of education. Communication grade helps instructor to communicate to students, the university and the society large about a particular student's level of knowledge and skills. Classroom management techniques, we have gathered resources that define disruption, analyze possible causes, and offer ideas on how to respond to the students. We shared these resources with faculty in discussion board program on classroom management techniques. There are some integrated ideas in our discussion with advice from the research on the classroom management. Redirect disruptive students. Research suggested that disruptive and uncivil behavior incidents are numerous and increasing on colleges and university campuses. Many professors avoid direct interventions because they hope ignoring the behavior will make it disappear. Worry about not being supported by administrator, worry that disruptions reflect on their teaching, and fear retaliations. Combining prevention and direct actions are the research recommended strategies for, for disruptive students. What is disruptive student behavior? Disruptive behavior in today's classroom in many forms, including lower level or NAEP disruptions like packing up early, and more challenging behavior like disrespectful comments, incivility, and bullying. NAEP disruptions include arriving late, leaving early, or using phone in our computers in class activities. Intentional disruptions include being disrespectful to instructors, teaching assistant, or classmate, wasting class time, projecting negative attitude about the class or instructor. Incivility is rude behavior that interrupts learning. Bullying is physical or verbal aggressive behavior that cause harm. Preventing disruptions. Instructors can work to prevent classroom disruptions by building a classroom persona that demand respectful behavior. There are few tested ideas to build in your course planning. Balance your authority and approachability. Show students that you care. Establish ground rules, reward civil behavior, set some examples, keep student engaged with effective presentation strategies. Best practice for redirecting disruptive behaviors, address disruptions immediately, give students clear, concise instructions about how to correct their behavior, document even lower level incident in a case pattern image, clarify when to get help. So there are some levels of disruptions: intentional, challenging, refusal, intimidating, threatening behaviors. So now we are coming on the conclusion, because there is some time limits also. The most important elements of classroom management is allowing your student an opportunity to understand that your rules are a part of giving them the best education possible. Teaching is a very important job, and once you get your classroom management skills in order, you will be enjoying teaching more and will have a more productive teaching career. Thank you all. Thank you, the university. Thank you, Chancellor of the university and dignitaries giving such opportunity to discuss on these valuable topics. Thank you, my colleagues from Oman and UK, and all the participants from all over the world.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for this very impressive and insightful presentation. We really thank you for taking your time to deliver this presentation. Then moving to the next item is the question session. This is a very important aspect of this workshop. And I would like to first and foremost take the first question from the physical audience here. I have Mr. Kabir. The mic is yours, sir, for your question.
I would like to appreciate the presenters for the presentation. However, I have a criticism, and I hope it will not offend the sense and sensibility of any of the presenters. It's an academic forum, and we should learn from one another. The title of the one-day workshop clearly, categorically states that innovative pedagogy tools and techniques for effective teaching and learning. The word innovative. I think all the three presentations leave much to be desired. They have derailed, they have gone away from the word innovative pedagogy tools. The storytelling techniques, I'm afraid, will not apply to all teaching contexts. For us in applied linguistics and language technology, we may be thinking of storytelling in a language classroom. But how does that work in a class of biology, a class of physics, a class of mathematics, when the word pedagogy is not really restricted to teaching language? It's an umbrella term for all teaching methods, all teaching techniques. So I think we derailed somewhere. That is not to say that the presentations were not valuable, they were, but we have not seen what is innovative in storytelling. The storytelling technique is used in language classroom and is as old as the hills. It's as old as the hills. The word innovative should bring us closer to thinking about digital productions, technological methods of managing our classrooms, of teaching, of engaging learners in assessment that has integrity, that we can value. So this is my concern. My expectations have not been met by the three presentations: classroom management, storytelling, and also the last one about. So I think we should redo this if there's opportunity for it, to talk about innovative pedagogy. Okay. Innovative pedagogy. Yes.
Thank you very much, sir, for this. I don't know whether there is going to be a response from the presenters. If there is any response, if there is not, then we proceed with the remaining.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you for this comment. So we have the opportunity, me and I think the colleagues also, to in the sense of innovative approach that we gave. I was reading I was reading the comments and the reaction from the audience, and they go exactly in the opposite direction of your comments. Plus, in regards to storytelling, and as I explained, storytelling is something that is quite almost an instinct for human beings. The thing is, and here is the innovation, is that formalizing this, it is the innovation. We have to enter in the classroom and be academic, like in the sense that we must serious and stay strict on the academic content. And here is the innovation. Now, I don't know where you learned that storytelling is a method for a language classroom, but this is absolutely not true. This is not true. And if you talk to me about physics and other areas of knowledge like this, well, there is no area where easier to apply storytelling, because physics is around all of us. Everything we do. We can create a lot of stories about that, personal and involving the student. And before explaining the rules behind the physical phenomenon, okay? Because if I do this is physics, right? I'm not talking about any kind of rules, okay? I'm just talking about the story of a pen falling down. Okay, I hope it's clear. Thank you.
It's very clear, sir. Thank you. And then moving to the next question.
Or would you like to go there? You said you can read from there. You said you can read from there the questions. You can go with your mark.
Okay.
It's about storytelling again. Yeah, I can read here.
We have a
Storytelling. Well, storytelling is a method. Okay, like of course you don't enter every single day in the classroom talk about stories. You can do it, but it's going to lose effectiveness. Now, I don't really know what applicable in managing all the classroom means, but I know that it is applicable, as I was saying before, to every kind of area of knowledge. There is a kind of ability that, and this has to be our ability to create links between things, complex links. All the world around us is the reality around us is a complex reality. It always be. So when I talk about movies and link movies or songs or personal stories to academic content, of course, this requires an academic and intellectual effort on my side. Okay, so this also doesn't happen in a vacuum. So this happens in because you gather information and your sensitivity brings you to make links that apparently between things that are apparently very far from each other, but you can create these links. And this is why I'm saying that this is based on creativity and innovation. So it depends a lot on us and our capacity of being creative first, and then bring this creation inside the classroom.
I don't know who this question is being forwarded. It could be either me or my last colleague.
The question is,
Yeah. Yeah, this seems to be the last presenter.
Yes, sir. Your question, how to manage a large class, especially when the class is so large and the lecture hall cannot accommodate them. So it better use, Blackboard as a site or online teaching, active learning. It is a best way to accommodate maximum student.
Maybe just make a comment from the colleague who asked the first question about what's innovative about the presentations here, which of course is a question which needs to be addressed. But from my side of the story, of course, I took this question right on when I started my presentation and said innovation is a change. Any innovative practice which is introduced into an institution needs to be managed, and it needs to be managed to be successful. So what I had presented was that if you were good in managing change, you could hopefully then successfully manage introducing innovative approaches, because although some of the innovative pedagogy tools are appealing to the staff and students and to universities, getting buy-in from either students, staff, and the management sometimes require managing the process. Thank you. I just wanted to have that sort of quick chip in before another question comes up. Dr. Mohammed, seems there are no further questions.
Pardon, sir? I couldn't get.
No, I'm saying it doesn't seem there are further questions from the audience.
How do you discipline disruptive student? So for this, disciplining disruptive students require a balanced approach that address the behavior while maintaining respect and fairness. So disruptive behavior in classroom remain calm, address the behavior immediately.
hello. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. I think that has been the last question that we can answer for today. And moving forward, I would like to give the mic to Ajia Maimuna, who is the human resource of this university, for her vote of thanks. So the mic is yours.
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. our marvelous presenters, esteemed participants, and fellow educators. As we come to the close of this workshop on innovative pedagogy, on behalf of Maryam Abacha, American University of Nigeria, Kano, I want to express a heartfelt gratitude to our and every one of you for your active participation and engagement, the insightful discussions, thought-provoking presentations, and collaborative spirit have made this workshop a truly enriching experience. I would like to extend a special thank you to our keynote speakers, facilitators, and organizers who have worked tirelessly to make this event a success. Your dedication to the advancement of education is truly commendable. To our participants, I hope you leave here today with renewed enthusiasm, fresh ideas, and a network of like-minded professionals who share your passion for innovative teaching and learning process. Thank you once again, and let us continue to inspire and empower our students to reach their full potential. Thank you so much, and goodbye.
Thank you very much for your vote of thanks. With this, we have come to the end of this. We thank you most sincerely, the presenters, for taking your time to share your experience and vast knowledge on this very contemporary topic. This topic very timely indeed. Thank you very much to all the participants for staying for over 2 hours. Listen to this again. Have a nice day.
Well, just